I got a special treat for you kids. Let's do that over. In 3, 2, 1. Well, gang, it's been a long time since I've been in a live broadcast, and I've got a special treat for all of you tonight. I have got Brian Tidwell with me. He is the lead moderator at cupoflinux.com, and he just put out an interesting mix on Ubuntu/Mint. It's called, what is that distro called? BHUMR-C. What WTF is that, Brian?
That's that is Brian's hybrid Ubuntu-Mint remix cinnamon.
And I just so happen to have this running right now and installed. But go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then I'll go ahead and do a screen share and show what I've got here.
So, well, anyway, I'm a huge fan of Linux Mint, and but I find that it comes with a lot of stuff that I don't really use, that I don't really need, and rather than strip all the stuff out that I don't use, I thought, well, I could probably build something. I think I have enough knowledge. I think I have enough skills that I could build something from the ground up so that when I got done, I had everything I wanted and nothing I didn't. So Ubuntu is part of the name because I started with the Ubuntu Mini Net Install ISO. From there, I added the Cinnamon desktop environment, which I like, and I'm actually using the Cinnamon from the experimental nightly repo. So this spin standard Linux Mint 17 has Cinnamon 2.2. This spin runs Cinnamon 2.3. I also added the Cinnamon repos, and it has the great tools that I think make Cinnamon great, like the Mint Stick utility, the Mint Disk utility, and the Mint Updater, which I think is probably one of the best software updaters going in a Linux distro. So that's where the Mint comes from.
Now, let me ask you a question here. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, because I only read your forum post once. But you have both Ubuntu and Mint repositories in the user settings,
Yep.
or in there. So this isn't going to cause a conflict of any kind, is it? Or basically,
no, because
they'll be looking for the latest versions of software.
No, it's not, because that's pretty much the way Linux Mint is built itself. When you get a standard Linux Mint ISO and you go to the software repository settings, you will see both the Ubuntu repos that it's built on. In this case, the trusty repo, and you will see the Mint repo, the current version of the Mint repo, which in this case is Kiana. So I'm not really doing anything that the guys who build Linux Mint officially do. So it won't cause issues.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do here is I'm going to start a screen share now. For those of you guys who are watching live right now, you may see some stuttering in the screen and that sort of thing. I'm running this Hangout from a laptop, so you may see some stuttering. We did a test earlier, and we were able to stream a live feed. So I've got a copy of this running, and Brian has a copy of it running. So either way, if something goes wrong during this, you'll still get to have a look at this and that sort of thing. So let me go ahead and start that screen share now. And I need to set this for the entire screen.
Okay.
Okay, and here we are. I don't know if you can see this. And I need to put in my trusty password to get into the system. And as you can see, upon first glance, we have a nice, elegant-looking Cinnamon desktop. Now, I've used Cinnamon myself, and I tried my best to give it a fair shake, but I'm one of these kind of distro hoppers Well, I used to be a distro hopper. Now that I'm on Manjaro, I haven't found anything I like better. But when I was bouncing around between different desktop environments, Cinnamon was one that would always seem to break on me because I like to pull all the levers, you know, all the twist all the knobs and that sort of thing, and things would tend to break. But I haven't really had a chance to experience Cinnamon as of late. And thus far, from what I've been able to see on this, it's been behaving quite nicely. Now, you have a standard Cinnamon desktop that comes loaded with this. He's included Mumble so that if you need any support for this, you can connect to our server at Cup of Linux, and if you need instructions, just visit cupoflinux.com, and there are instructions for connecting to us on the Mumble server because he doesn't have this automatically set up in here. But you can connect to us. Brian is on our Mumble server every night, so if you decide to run this and you have any questions you want to throw at Brian, you can join us on Mumble. He's on there every night, and you'll be able to pick his brain. Of course, if he's not available, you can always pop your question on our forums here at cupoflinux.com. And he was nice enough to also include that in Google Chrome. When you launch Google Chrome, there is a quick link that will take you to our website. And if you're not signed up, I highly suggest that you do sign up for it because, well, everything that happens at Cup of Linux happens at cupoflinux.com. And of course, this is running a little bit slow. I had to reduce the amount of processor speed on this to 1 core so that I could run a live stream at the same time and not bog up all of my computer resources. So it is expected to run a little bit slow, but you'll see there is a link here where you can get support for this, and you can pop your questions to Brian. And what I'll also do is, I haven't got it set up yet on the forum, but I will set up a special section where you can post your questions to Brian, and he can moderate that forum and answer any questions. And I'll put that under the Ubuntu setting. Or under the Ubuntu forum and that sort of thing. This is running a little bit slow, but that is to be expected. So really, you've got a nice bare bones, fairly lightweight operating system going on here. Brian didn't include too much because if as a PC user myself, if there's anything that I really despise when I load in a Linux distribution, it's having much of everything loaded into this that I'm going to have to go and uninstall at a later time. But as you can see from the menu here, there are a number of utilities that are thrown in for this, the bare essentials. So you have most of your utilities you're going to need to get the most out of the system. Notably, BleachBit is a great utility, keeps your system nice and clean on here. It does have Bluetooth support. Brasero for making coffee coasters, burning discs. That comes standard with Cinnamon and GNOME. So I always, and I haven't even tried Brasero as of late, Brian. So
yeah, I think Cinnamon pulled that in. I did not consciously include Brasero. I think Cinnamon pulls it in automatically.
Right, but the thing is, you do get a LibreOffice suite included with this. Personally, I don't use LibreOffice. I just use AbiWord myself. But the thing is, and for running this on Wine and all of my other system resources dedicated to using the live stream, I think this is going pretty well. Now let's go ahead and open up our terminal here. And let's just take a quick look and see how much memory is being used on this. I don't know if HTOP is installed on this. It probably isn't. Oh, it is. And so you can see that...
Battery, who are you talking to?
Yeah, okay. So you did include HTOP. That's good. And this is using 813 megs of RAM. And that's not too bad considering I've run a number of applications. There's probably footprints being left in memory and that sort of thing. A lot of CPUs going on this, but then again, I only have 1 core assigned to this. So not bad. And, it's expected anyway because Cinnamon is based on GNOME, and we all know that that some GNOME desktops, depending on how they're configured, some can use more power and more memory than others, and that sort of thing. This looks like a nice achievement, and it looks like with this distribution, you're pretty much getting the best of both worlds, both Ubuntu and Linux Mint with this. Let me go ahead and close this. For some reason, oh, let me press cancel on this. Then I can close. Duh. Okay, so why don't I go ahead and pass the microphone over to you now, where pretty much you can share some additional things I haven't covered on this.
Okay, let me go ahead. Now, nobody laugh. I'm actually doing this Hangout on the machine that I built the OS on.
And while he is loading up, there's only one observation I'd like to make. I did have a problem with this distribution after installing it in VMware, and that was the Plymouth, the splash screen, the grub interface, all of that loaded in at 1440 by 900, which is a lot larger than my native screen resolution on this computer is. And so pretty much that was really the only problem I had with it. And then the login window, I think you're using LightDM with this, correct? At least that's what it looked like.
No, the lock-in windows, it's MDM, Mint
Okay.
Display Manager.
All right, yeah, I just haven't seen that particular theme with it before. But the thing is, what had happened was because of the 1440 by 900 resolution that it wanted to display at, I had to, because I didn't have any like quote guest editions or anything installed in this. I had to, release control of the mouse and scroll down to the lower right where I could put in my username and password to get into the system. But really, that was the only issue I had with this. I don't know if you plan on rebuilding this at a later time at a lower screen resolution for people with, lighter requirements and that sort of thing. But there is a way around it. Now, I don't know if you would experience the same thing if you were to use this on a real computer, because I obviously haven't had a chance to set it up that way. But, yeah, that was the only issue that I had.
Yeah. And right quick, just to kind of show you how to fix that particular problem, if you open up your system settings and go down the login window.
And of course, those system settings are conveniently located on your panel.
Yep.
So you've got a nice selection of things on the panel there that most people would be able to make use of. So yes.
Yeah. So anyway, here's a selection of different login or display manager themes that come included with it. So, from there you might be able to choose one where where you put in your credentials window is actually someplace that's a little more accessible in your VM. Just throwing that out there. And thanks for pointing that out. I know exactly what the problem is, and I know what I got to do to fix it. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully the fix doesn't screw up that really cool, sweet-looking splash screen I have going on now.
Well, yeah, I like the leaves. That must have been from an older Plymouth splash screen that Mint had years ago. I don't know. I haven't seen that. Or is that a newer one?
I picked it up off of GNOME Look. So.
Oh, awesome! And GNOME Look is an awesome place to go for different things. Show us some other features that you've got bundled into this thing.
Well, of course, there's a login window. In Cinnamon 2.3, if you're familiar with Cinnamon at all, they've changed the theme window a little bit. So this is this is the default theme for BHUMR-C. And again, I pretty much got all of this at one point or another, either off of GNOME Look or Cinnamon Spices.
And Another nice thing about this is the fact that you decided to go with a dark theme. Especially when you have many of us Linux geeks, we spend exorbitant amount of hours in front of our computer screens. At the end of the day, your eyes are going to thank you for it because you're not staring at a screen that's blaring white light in your face all the time, and that's
Yeah.
good. So, I've always liked the dark themes. They seem to work best for me. And I mean, even when I was running Windows, I used to use dark themes as well, and with the stylish plugins to darken up all the websites and that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
it just seemed to work out nicely for me here.
And I've also included now if you install Ubuntu 14.04 or Linux Mint 17, you will get bits and pieces of the Samba networking stack. You don't get the whole Samba networking stack. I have included the entire Samba networking stack in this build, and one of the things it does for you, if you've got network attached printers, hanging off of another computer, hanging off of a Windows share, you install this, it's going to go out and it's going to find it. Particularly, it works better if it's an HP printer like I have, but I didn't have to add this printer. The system found it and configured it, and I successfully printed a test page off of it. I had to do 0 printer configuration.
Right, that's a good thing. Somebody mentioned that my microphone is coming in low. Is it coming in low? I know how Hangouts likes to adjust the volume of the microphone quite a bit.
You're coming in just fine.
All right, great.
As far as anything special, really, I mean, that's, the Plymouth Splash theme, getting that in there and getting that working is one thing I've kind of done to tweak it. Of course, I chose the icon set. I chose the cinnamon theme. I like this particular cinnamon theme because of the transparency that it gives you in the panel and in the menu. And this is not the standard cinnamon menu. This is an applet. This is a panel applet called Configurable Menu, and basically what you can do with this applet is I right-clicked on it, hit Configure, and
I didn't say anything about the menu because I wasn't sure if that was GNOME menu or what that was. But I do like the level of transparency and everything that you have set up on the base theme. But personally, I'm not feeling the icons. I think I think that like the elementary icon set would look a little bit nicer with that. But that's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
And if I were to run this as a main daily driver or main OS, that would probably be the first. The first thing I do is switch out the icon set. But
right.
This is your distro, so you pick things that you like, and that's cool.
Yeah. So the neat thing about this menu, you have all these different options you can make it what you like. If you're a KDE fan or you're coming from a KDE distro, they have a kicker style menu built in.
Ooh.
And I know, Spatry, I know you're an XFCE guy. And let this
have a whisker menu clone in there?
Yep.
Ooh.
I'm trying to demonstrate it, but yep. So I just chose whisker menu, and
not too shabby. Now that would be something else if they were to have that applet for XFCE. What is that called again?
It's called Configurable Menu.
Configurable Menu. Mental note to self. Definitely hit up the AUR for that and see if I can get that on Manjaro, and if I like it, who knows, that might come out in the next MCOL. That's a good one. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And these aren't launchers. The default Cinnamon panel comes with launchers. I got rid of that. This is Window List with Preview, I believe is the name of the app. So as you can see,
Morphe. A little munchkin. Morphe.
Okay. So anyway, that's one thing. That's what I really like about Cinnamon is I'm not afraid to say it. I actually like Windows 7. I like the arrow interface in Windows 7, and with the Cinnamon panel and these applets, I can configure my Cinnamon panel to act exactly like the taskbar in Windows 7.
And not only that, but this is a great option for people who you know, want to transition over from the Windows side of things over to Linux. And, you know, either the XFCE desktop or the Cinnamon desktops are both excellent options. KDE is also a good choice, but its configuration settings can be a little bit confusing for somebody that's new. So
Yep.
The XFCE or the Cinnamon desktops, you can give a Windows-like appearance. Like just last week, I installed Linux Lite on an elderly computer, and they're absolutely loving it. And the thing is, I set it up to look like and behave like Windows 7. And you can do that with these kind of desktops. So that's a plus point. And Lord knows where Windows is going, but we know what Windows is going to be catastrophe. And now we have the upcoming Windows 10, and I saw Matthew Moore's rant on that. I don't even know if I'm even going to be downloading that and trying it out. I think my Windows is just about over, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this before
Well,
we
just one other thing I wanted to show you. I told you that I'm a fan of the Mint Updater, and here it is. Something to keep in mind on this. I did include Cinnamon 2.3 from the nightly PPA. So it's fair warning. You'll get, if you use this, you're going to get daily updates to the Cinnamon desktop, and you might occasionally find a bug. So that's what's going on there. And as you can see, I have updates, so might as well go ahead and pull them down.
I thought I remembered reading that in your post. So this is a nightly build of Cinnamon, and so but the thing is, they can freeze that at some point, can't they? Let's say
they
I
absolutely can.
how I want it, and I don't want any more updates for at least for a little while. Is this going to continue to download updates and that sort of thing, or I can preset it at some point, I believe?
I would have to look into it a little bit more, Spatry. I think you could.
If I'm not mistaken, there is a way to do that within the Mint Update Manager. You can tell it to take, I think it's like, I can't remember which the levels were, but you could tell it to, I think it's like level 1 and 2 are the important updates, and then level 3, 4, and 5, or it could be in reverse. It's been a while since I've looked at the Mint Update Manager, since I'm doing everything through Pac-Man now. But I think there is a way you can do that so that it's not notifying you every day of updates, because that is one of the problems I did have with Cinnamon, in that, if I'm not mistaken, I know I've tried both the nightly and the stable builds, and I've had problems with them before. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there probably is a way to do that. So at the end of the day, you put a lot of work into this, Brian, and I know the community is really going to be appreciating this distro. And to download this distro, you need to point your web browser to cupoflinux.com, and Brian has links to this in our forums. Because of the micro stopped scare, I have disabled comments on my YouTube channel. But then again, I don't like the comment system anyway. That's why I set up this forum. So if you have any comments on any of my videos on my channel, please hop on over cupoflinux.com. I'm on here every day. I'm reading your comments and your suggestions, and we also have. Yeah, well, matter of fact, let me go ahead
Oh, that
and
was embarrassing.
share here. It appears we have a lot of people in the chat room right now, and or there was a bunch of people. Yeah, so we've got an active chat room going on here. If you look here, this is the forum itself. Right underneath the Ubuntu section, I will be putting a child board that will be listed either before or after this link to Ubuntu and Ubuntu remixed by NM. So I am going to have a special board for this distribution that's going to include links, and you can come on here and get support for BHUMR-C or BUMR-C or whatever. What is that again?
BHUMR-C. It's BHUMR-C.
BHUMR-C. So you can come on to cupoflinux.com and get support here. I read all of the comments that come in here. So even if Brian doesn't get to it, I will read your comment. If I know how to solve the problem, usually I'm very proactive at providing solutions. But if I don't know the answer, we've got a bunch of other bright people who are, we have a bunch of other really bright people who are, you know, answering questions, and we've got lots of great stuff on our forum. News, we've got people submitting some of their favorite music selections and stuff like that. It's a really fun place to hang out. So, yeah, definitely check us out at cupoflinux.com. Well, that's all I've got on this. Anything else, Brian, or are we done?
Now, I just want to thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to take a look at my build and do a video on it in this forum. I know you get a lot of views, so you know that's exposure for me, and I really appreciate it.
Well, you know what, Brian, I can't thank you enough for all the things that you're doing here at Cup of Linux as well. I mean, you are my lead moderator on the forums and on the Mumble server. So, you know, you're doing an awful lot of stuff. You know, you're devoting a lot of your time to the community here. So, I thought maybe this would be a good idea. And no, I've never done a Linux distro review like this before, where we had a live hangout and that sort of thing. So, if you guys like this kind of format, we should do reviews like this in the future. I don't know how often I'll be able to do them. Right now, I've got boxes piled up in front of my screen. Doing some major housekeeping here and then. And Mom's got her issues with as well. But that's for another discussion at another time. So thank you all of you for watching. If you like this format, please leave your comments at cupoflinux.com. I'm not reading any comments on YouTube anymore, especially with the Microsoft scare. And Lord knows all these other evil tactics these companies are coming out with to attack people. You know, it's ridiculous, and I suppose we could do another live hangout on that subject too. So, who knows?
You got to get Matthew Moore in and talk about that.
Oh yeah, we got to. Yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? We'll have to do that one of these days because he's on Google regularly. So I know if I were to hop in during the afternoon hours, I could probably say, "Hey, Matt, you want to join us for a hang? Get all you guys together." And we could probably do another one of these. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun. So, thank you, all of you who are watching live, and all of you who decided to catch us. Who knows when we're going to do a next one? It'll be a surprise. That's all I can say. Well, that's all there is for me. Peace out.
All right.